Yes, Assalamu alaikum. So regarding the measurement performance domain, actually it's more of a, like a supportive domain for the other domains that already in the performance. So the measurement domain actually it was supported for the delivery, so it was better if the delivery was explained first. But mainly it's the act of continuously making assessment and monitoring the status of the project. So after the approach cycle and the planning during the execution, it will be extremely crucial to do assessment and continuous measurement for the status of the project, and that have multiple benefits for it. So the main benefit of doing the continuous measurement or making sure to focus on the measurement performance domain is that to make sure the project is aligned with the end goal and the end outcomes that are stated at the beginning of the planning stage. So can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, so mainly it has a couple of outcomes of applying that in the project. First of all, of course, it will make a reliable understanding of the status of the project and give the executives or the team lead or the project management the ability to make sense of the collective data after making the assessment and perform like decision making to either correct the track of the project or just to make sure that they are on the to prevent any similar scenarios in the future. Also, it gives them the time and the room to do these actions and in a timely manner and also in a correct manner. Also, it helps like to compare for example, the baseline artifacts that were set in the beginning of the project with the current deliverables we have and see how much we are skewed from the actual artifacts. So to make sure that the project at the end will be delivered with the correct or at least close to the percentage promised at the first of the beginning of the planning stage. And actually, I think there is multiple like real practical projects. Besides the theory, there is multiple tools that can be used to achieve that, whether it's through KPIs, of course, and dashboards, and there is a lot of software and technology now is extremely advanced to do that. Some are also relying on AI and forecasting for future decision making to make it in advance, regardless of the project type, of course, multiple modeling softwares. And that's it.
Thank you so much. I'll start asking, so I'll motivate you guys. Can you mention some artifacts that you're measuring in your projects or in projects in general from the PMI perspective?
Currently, on my actual projects,
Anything, either actual projects or from your studying of this performance domain.
Okay, an actual project to make it more tangible. In software, it's sometimes it's very hard to measure what is the artifacts because we in construction, I think, and civil engineering in general, there is like actual tangible, viewable products that you can see. So in technology in general, it's more of the performance. So the artifacts we have is testing the system and then testing the system and then reflecting on the data. So whether the data is giving the same expected data, for example, if you are building a dashboard, for example, for a company, that the artifacts is that the software you deliver is with the right size, right version, compatible for the system of the client, gives the correct data at the same time and view and until the graphical user interface for the user. So these are for us the main artifacts, and how much percent that you can deliver, you need to continuously monitor during the development, testing, and even the planning stage.
Great, great. But I need to elaborate more. Very good answer. Thank you so much. But the things that you have mentioned in the beginning of the answer is more towards the audit and making sure that you are meeting the acceptance criteria and the definition of done. It's not about what you are measuring to know your performance towards the project, because this performance domain is about measuring my performance against what has been planned before. Am I doing well or not? At the next part of your answer, you have mentioned that the percentage of things completed. Did you hear that answer, guys? She has mentioned two parts. The first part was talking about the artifacts she's measuring to make sure that she's successfully delivering that dashboards and that presentation of information. And that is not about the measuring performance domain. That was about the QAQC auditing, making sure I am meeting the KPIs and the, let's say, list of requirements plus definition of done and what makes the work completed successfully. But on the other hand, she has mentioned the percentage of what has been done to date or until the moment. That means that she's measuring what actually been done towards what has been planned to be done. And this is one of the things that we are measuring. We can measure it from the cost perspective. So we'll have, for example, cost variances, cost performance index, and other cost numbers and readings and information. And we would have measured it from the schedule perspective, where we'll have schedule variances and schedule performance indices, and we will definitely cover all of them, but this is a good time to discuss such things because Miss Noor is presenting, right?
Yes.
Great. So because Miss Noor has done a very good job in presenting this introduction about that performance domain, and it was an eye-opening towards those readings and those numbers or those information that we'll be discussing later, inshallah. And we'll have many areas to measure, like effort, utilization, productivity, and we'll have numbers to read, return on investment, and benefits cost analysis, and so on. So those what we usually measure in order to know how our performance is, or to get some numbers and information and reports that will help us to decide, like mentioned by Ms. Noor. Thank you, Ms. Noor. That was a great 5 minutes of discussion.